Hello everyone, and welcome to the first matchup of the Elite Eight of the Elkhart County Historical Museum Collections Bracket. So the Elite Eight is set, and as you can see, these 8 objects will determine who's moving on to the Final Four, and eventually one of these will be champion. Today's matchup is a battle of photos. So we have the Palm Sunday tornado photo versus the Robert Young Railyard photo. So when we post this video, there will be a poll. You can vote in that poll or leave your comment on who you want to see go forward. So if you want the basic information about both these items, you can look at one of our previous matchups and get all the basic things, but we figured we would provide you with some more information about the photos and the events that they depict. So first, we have the Palm Sunday tornado photo, April 11th, 1965. 55 years ago this month, the Palm Sunday tornadoes ran through Elkhart County. There are 4 tornadoes rated at an F4 scale. This particular photo is of the Midway Mobile Home Park, which was destroyed during the Palm Sunday tornadoes. Now, leading the charge in the recovery of this area, and really the entire county, was this man. So, Sheriff Woody Caton, which you can see there in the uniform there on the left. So he was really leading the charge. He was Elkhart County Sheriff at the time. In this particular photo, you can see the change in the money. That is actually change and money that was recovered during the cleanup of the Palm Sunday tornadoes. Now, one of the things that they were really worried about when the tornadoes ran through and they had emergency personnel, civil defense people, firefighters, police officers, EMTs, coming to these areas to help in the recovery and help the victims was, and Caton talked about this later, was gas leaks, which is something you probably wouldn't think about in terms of tornado recovery. But gas leaks from houses and mobile homes could have made even a larger disaster. So Caton did a number of things to coordinate the recovery effort. So much so that even after the Palm Sunday tornadoes, years later, when they were reviewing what could be done, Caton was called to Washington, D.C. to testify in front of the United States Congress to talk about what he did during the recovery efforts and what lessons could be learned. So not only was this a tragic event, but we learned from it as well. And there is some much needed legislation that comes out of the recovery of the Palm Sunday tornadoes. So going up against that photo is a photo of the Robert Young Railyards. So these railyards were opened and operating in 1958. It was a completely automated system. They were using dials and switches to help move rail cars along all of those lines there, where then they would go further west to the United States. The trains would be organized along the rails, and then they would move to Chicago and then out to the rest of the country. Now, the interesting thing is, this was not the first rail yard that was being used in this location. The Robert Young Railyards in 1958 replaced these rail yards. These rail yards were established in 1903 on the same grounds as the Robert Young Railyards were. But the biggest difference was, instead of being automated, this worked entirely through gravity. So as you can see in this photo, there's a rail car all the way on the top of a hill, and they would literally just let the switches go, and there'd be someone, as you can see in the photo, sitting on top of a rail car. So imagine how dangerous that could be. And they would let those rail cars just go, and through a variety of switches, they would be organized. So it worked completely through gravity. There was no automating, no computers used at all. It was all gravity. So it was very dangerous. As you can see, one wrong switch could make the car go in a different direction. If the cars were moving too quickly, they could jump the tracks, and that could cause injury or derailment of another number of different cars. So when the automated system came through, it made things much more efficient, but also a lot safer. So that is our matchup for today. Palm Sunday Tornadoes versus Robert Young Railyards. Who wins? Who moves on to the Final Four? That's in your hands. So vote in the poll, leave a comment, we'll count all the votes, and we'll see which one of these two moves on to the Final Four. So we'll see you in the next video, everyone.